Imagine a large city being built. Everywhere you look, you see roads, buildings, factories, automobiles, waterproofing materials, tires, gloves, footwear, carpets, and paper products. Most people notice the final product. Very few people stop and ask a simple question. What are these products actually made of? And who supplies the critical ingredients that make them perform better? That is where the story of Apcotex begins. Apcotex is not a company that most consumers recognize. You won't see its name on a billboard. You won't hear people discussing it in everyday conversations. Yet its products quietly sit inside hundreds of industrial applications used every day. Think of it like a master chef's secret ingredient. Customers praise the final dish, but the ingredient supplier remains invisible. Apcotex operates in that invisible but extremely important part of the economy. One of the most powerful business models in investing is what can be called a toll bridge business. Imagine a bridge connecting several busy cities. People use the bridge for different reasons. Some travel for work, some for business, some for tourism. But everyone crossing the bridge contributes to the bridge owner's earnings. Apcotex works in a similar way. Its materials are used in construction, tires, footwear, paper, carpets, adhesives, gloves, industrial products, and many other applications. When these industries grow, Apcotex benefits. It doesn't rely on a single customer, a single industry, or a single trend. Instead, it participates in many industries simultaneously. This gives the business multiple engines of growth and makes it more resilient during economic cycles. Now imagine you need a routine medical checkup. Almost any doctor can help. But if you need a complex surgery, you look for a specialist. The chemical industry works in much the same way. Many companies can manufacture ordinary products. Very few can consistently produce specialized materials that customers trust for mission-critical applications. Building such expertise takes decades. Customers perform extensive testing. Approvals take years. Technical know-how accumulates slowly. Trust is earned over long periods of time. This creates what investors call an entry barrier. In simple terms, not everyone can walk into this business and compete successfully. The moat around Apcotex is not built on advertising or consumer branding. It is built on knowledge, manufacturing expertise, customer relationships, process capability, and years of technical experience. For many years, Apcotex looked like a hardworking student sitting quietly in the classroom. Not a failure, not a star performer, just quietly doing its job. Factories continued operating. Customers remained loyal. Business carried on steadily. Then something began to change. The company became more efficient. Profitability improved. Debt started reducing. Cash generation strengthened. Suddenly, the same student who sat quietly in the back of the classroom began scoring significantly better marks. Investors call this an earnings inflection point. It sounds complicated, but the meaning is simple. The direction of the business has started improving. Not because of luck, not because of speculation, but because the underlying economics of the business are getting stronger. To understand this better, imagine two restaurants. Both serve the same number of customers. Both generate similar revenue. But one restaurant wastes ingredients while the other carefully controls costs. Even though sales are similar, one restaurant earns much higher profits. This is exactly the type of improvement investors look for. Apcotex appears to be entering a phase where it keeps a larger share of every rupee it earns. Investors call this margin expansion. The real meaning is that the business is becoming smarter, more disciplined, and more efficient. And when efficiency improves, profits often grow much faster than sales. This is one of the most powerful drivers of long-term wealth creation. Another important piece of the story involves debt. A few years ago, the company carried more financial obligations. Think of a student trying to run a race while carrying a heavy backpack. Even a talented runner struggles when carrying unnecessary weight. Today, that burden is becoming lighter. Debt has reduced substantially. Less money is being spent on interest payments. More money remains available for future growth. More money remains available for shareholders. More money remains available for innovation and expansion. Investors call this process deleveraging. Strong institutions often prefer businesses that are becoming financially stronger because it reduces risk and improves future earning potential. But profits alone are not enough. Cash matters. Many companies report profits on paper but struggle to generate actual cash. Imagine running a shop that sells products worth hundreds of rupees every day, but customers never pay you. On paper, you may appear profitable, but in reality, the business is struggling. Cash flow tells us whether profits are real. Apcotex has demonstrated the ability to convert a meaningful portion of its profits into operating cash flows. This increases confidence that the earnings are supported by genuine business activity rather than accounting adjustments. Another concept professional investors watch closely is return on capital. Imagine two farmers. Both own farmland of the same size. One earns a small income from his land, while the other earns several times more. The difference is efficiency. The second farmer is simply better at generating returns from the same assets. Businesses work the same way. Apcotex has shown healthy returns on capital over long periods. This suggests management is not merely growing the size of the business. It is creating value from the capital already invested. Now comes perhaps the most interesting part of the story. Before the entire school recognizes that a student is exceptional, the best teachers usually notice first. They observe discipline, consistency, improvement, and potential. Institutional investors behave in a very similar way. They rarely buy businesses because of excitement or headlines. They study businesses quietly. They look for improving economics, stronger cash flows, better balance sheets, and emerging competitive advantages. The appearance of Apcotex in multiple institutional, leadership, earnings, and smart money screeners suggests that serious investors may be noticing improvements beneath the surface. This does not guarantee future success, but it does suggest the company has entered the radar of sophisticated market participants. The next chapter of the story revolves around growth. Imagine a successful restaurant with customers waiting outside every evening. The problem is not demand. The problem is capacity. There simply aren't enough tables to serve everyone. The obvious solution is expansion. Apcotex appears to be entering a similar phase. The company is investing in additional capacity for key products. If customer demand remains healthy and management executes effectively, this additional capacity can become a powerful growth engine. Many successful businesses experience their strongest growth when existing demand meets newly available capacity. What makes this opportunity more interesting is the company's investment in research and development. Factories alone do not create long-term winners. Innovation does. Over time, technical expertise, customer-specific formulations, product customization, and application knowledge become valuable competitive advantages. The stronger these capabilities become, the more difficult it is for competitors to catch up. This is what investors refer to as an economic moat. It is the invisible advantage that allows a business to protect profitability and maintain customer relationships over long periods. Of course, every business story contains risks. Apcotex operates in an industry that depends on raw materials linked to crude oil and global chemical markets. If input costs rise sharply, profitability can come under pressure. Capacity expansion also introduces execution risk. Building capacity is relatively easy. Successfully utilizing it is much harder. Management must continue acquiring customers, maintaining product quality, controlling costs, and executing effectively. Future success depends on how well these challenges are handled. This brings us to the relationship between fundamentals and technicals. Fundamentals tell us what a company is becoming. Technicals tell us whether the market is beginning to recognize that transformation. Think of fundamentals as studying a student's preparation throughout the year. Think of technicals as looking at the report card. When preparation improves and results improve simultaneously, confidence increases. The combination of stronger earnings, improving margins, debt reduction, cash generation, capacity expansion, institutional interest, and leadership characteristics creates a coherent picture. Multiple pieces of evidence appear to be pointing in the same direction. Ultimately, the best way to think about Apcotex is not as a chemical company. Think of it as a specialist supplier quietly becoming more important to the industries it serves. It has spent decades building expertise. It serves customers who value reliability and consistency. It appears to be becoming more efficient. It appears to be becoming financially stronger. It is investing for future growth. It is strengthening its competitive position. And it appears to be attracting the attention of serious investors. The story is not about a struggling company trying to survive. Nor is it about a speculative company chasing temporary excitement. It is the story of a good business attempting to become a better business. And throughout market history, some of the most rewarding. Investment opportunities have emerged when a business quietly improves long before it becomes widely recognized. The real question is not what Apcotex was in the past. The real question is whether it can continue becoming more efficient, more profitable, more innovative, and more important to its customers in the years ahead. If it can, then the quiet specialist hiding in plain sight may eventually become one of the more interesting industrial success stories of its generation.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.